How's it going, everybody? Chad Gunn here, and today I have a special guest. Some of you may already know him, but for those who don't, I'd like to welcome ANAMANA to my channel. You want to tell my audience a little bit about yourself if they don't know?
Yeah, I'm ANAMANA. I'm a content creator mainly for PSO2 now. I've covered games like Destiny and Final Fantasy 15 actually in the past. But yeah, I mainly make content on YouTube and I stream on Twitch every now and then, but mostly stream on YouTube at the moment. That's about it. Yeah, that's me.
Nice. So we're here today to talk about some of the stuff introduced the other day in the new Genesis Prologue 1 stream. And one of the particular things we're going to discuss is the new format for subclasses, particularly the multi-weapon system they introduced. For those of you who missed it, it looks like you can now combine weapons of your main and subclass together into one sort of multi-tool kind of thing. You can switch between them on the fly. And we wanted to talk about how that changes the fundamentals of subclasses. Now, originally going into this, I was hoping that they would have dropped subclasses in favor of a more simplified system, but seeing the way they're handling weaponry between the two classes now has totally changed my mind on it. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that's interesting. Obviously, like right now, there's a lot of we need to play of it right with the closed beta, and we need to see if they're going to reveal anything more. And it could go, I feel like it could even go two ways. I think it could even go focusing on the subclass who do have that requirement, but I wonder if it's like you can equip, like say you're a hunter, you equip a sword, and then maybe you could bind any weapons PA to it, or if it does require it to be the subclass. That's the biggest question I've got right now. Like, does that sound like something you'd be worrying about?
Like putting a rifle PA on a sword? Or
yes. So like if I'm playing hunter fighter and I want to put a rifle PA onto the sword, am I restricted by the subclass, or does it not matter? Does it only mean that whatever the primary weapons are that I'm equipping, like the main ones I can equip, I can use those fine? And is it just the PA that's the thing that's restricted either by subclass, or is it just open and I can then extend out to other weapons through that way?
Well, I think the PAs are still going to be restricted to the weapon, because otherwise having weapon-specific PAs would be a bit redundant. If I could just throw any weapons abilities on any other kind, I think that would just make it a little too... it would make it feel like there's no point to having weapon-specific PAs at all. If I could just put something like Desperado Dance on a sword, it would look a little weird. But I do think it would be nice to see, even if you don't put a weapon together into a multi-weapon, to still be able to have access to PAs of a subclass, or in general having access to that class's weapons. Because as it stands right now, if I'm a hunter fighter, I can't just wear a double saber just because fighter's my sub. I have to have one that lets you do it as a hunter. It'd be nice to see maybe having access to both classes' weapons at once, regardless. Never mind that that particular combination would mean you're carrying 6 different weapon types around. I can't imagine trying to build something for that, but I feel like it would be less restrictive. And then maybe, I think they did say something about that already. It seemed like early on, before they showed us the multi-weapon thing specifically, you would need to upgrade weapons in certain ways to use them if your class is your subclass. I think they touched upon that a little bit. It was a little difficult to keep up with the translator. I know they were doing their best with 3 people there to translate on the fly, but I do recall something along those lines. So maybe it's still the same as PSO2 was, but you can give a weapon the ability to be used as a subclass.
Yeah, it's possible. The thing, you know what, I think I just thought of this just then, but we haven't really seen how, if you do have main weapons, hunter having sword, partisan, and wired lance, if those are the same weapons, but regardless, like 3 weapons they got access to, they haven't shown us how we're switching between them. Do we maybe have to main into a weapon and then pick and choose the PAs we're using that way? Or it'd be interesting to see how we do actually switch between the weapons outside of the multi-weapon actions.
Yeah, they haven't really shown us anything like a weapon palette yet. So, I mean, I don't see them not using it, because it's still mostly like PSO2. But, I mean, we don't know everything yet. Like you said, getting into the beta is how we'll tell for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't tell us that Global was getting a closed beta or the graphic update anytime soon. I know Japan's been pretty open about it, but they didn't. Unless I missed it at the very end. I had to go near the end of the character customization scene, but from what I saw, they only went on another like 10 minutes after I left. So I feel like it would have been all over the place if they said something.
Yeah, they were just talking about emotes, pretty much. Like they were talking about what emotes they would like to see in themselves. Yeah.
So maybe soon, maybe after the Japanese one, they'll send us one, because I don't think that they wouldn't give us a beta over here.
Yeah, I think what's happening is that the way they're probably going to be testing is they'll test the Japan region first and PC, then they might be open it up to PS4 as well, or PS5, and they might do Western, and then Western on PC, then, so just so they're getting the right amount of data each time, so it's like kind of focused. So they're not trying to just cover everything at the same time and then, wait, was this for this? Was this for that? It just makes it a little bit easier for a development team to stay on task.
It's also probably harder to get a beta going for 33, 34, however many countries Global is on now, as opposed to doing it just in Japan. So it probably takes a bit more prep work. But
absolutely.
Yeah, until that happens, and I know some people have signed up for the JP beta. I haven't yet. I might wait, because I don't expect Ada and her team to translate the beta. Maybe
we might see that. I don't think they'll translate the beta, but I think we'll start seeing screenshots of stuff translated, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see when that comes around, how multi-classing and the multi-weapon system and all of that works. The other thing I wanted to discuss today was the character creation system. Specifically, one little thing they reference, and I'm sure some of you already know what I'm talking about, that all characters are now essentially non-binary. The way they've removed the label of male or female in the game, which is some things I know have been attempting that lately, trying to take gender out of the equation for character creation. I know Cyberpunk made an attempt at this. However you feel about how they went about it, I haven't played it. But taking the option to choose between one or the other, and just letting you make a character that's more masculine or feminine, or some combination therein, on its own seems like a much better way to do it, in my opinion. Because, you don't have to worry about the game referring to your character as male or female, because they're not even asking.
I think that's the big point of it, is there's a lot of benefit that everyone gets out of it, being able to equip any of their cosmetics. Doesn't matter what specific locked in gender you are. And I've got a male character. It doesn't stop my character being male. And it doesn't stop a female character being female. It just means that we just have a lot more functionality. We can, and I don't know, maybe if you're a male character and just having longer eyelashes or something like that, or maybe you just want the proportions to kind of better suit how you like your character to look. I think there's a lot of benefit, and I think there's benefit for everyone, and I think there's benefit for maybe, obviously, some people that don't get as much representation as well.
Oh yeah. Plus some of the outfits they made for female characters in PSO2. I was looking at some of that. They had one recently in the Fresh Find shop. It kind of makes you look like a cast in like a gown kind of thing. I was imagining, because my main character is also a male character. I like to do the thing where I like to make them look a bit like me. I was like, it almost could pass as like a robe with like cybernetic parts to it. I don't remember what it was called. I saw it in red the other day. But stuff like that you could now wear regardless of whether or not your character looks male or female, because nothing's gender locked anymore.
Yeah.
So I like that. I'm hoping they apply that to PSO2 as well. I think they might have to, because if I say I have a male looking character with a female-looking outfit and I move over to PSO2, is it going to just unequip my gear, or is it going to... You know, I feel like they'd have to adapt to that to make it compatible with constantly switching back and forth.
As far as I understand, there's going to be 2 modes. So your character is going to go into PSO2 or New Genesis regardless, whatever they're equipped like. But what I was saying early on was that basically there'll be some cosmetics and some models that are specifically PSO2 and some that are New Genesis. So, for example, if you wanted to wear like the Fresh Finds one, it may be locked to PSO2, whereas there might be some, but I don't know if they're going to unlock the whole gender restriction on that. But they have mentioned previously they may have changed the tune. I'm not too sure, but back when they were clarifying things, they mentioned that there's going to be a PSO2. It was basically, maybe this is the way I'm thinking of it, right? So I think if I equip, for example, that I'm a male character, I equip that female Star Gem costume, I can equip it on the character, but I have to have every other part of it. Like if it was like a base wear or a layer wear, I need to have everything being PSO2. Whereas if I was to equip a New Genesis one, it has to have everything else outside of accessories and some other things. It has to all be New Genesis. I think that's what that was saying.
They don't want you to mix and match them. Probably in case some cosmetics don't make it over to New Genesis, so your character doesn't have some sort of compatibility issue. That would make sense.
Yeah.
I know they talked about that for... They alluded to something like that for weapon camos. If a certain weapon doesn't make it into New Genesis, that camo would be unusable. Which in itself implies, I guess, that we're not going to see all the weapons move over, at least not right away.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are wondering about Braver bound to Summoner and the Scions as well.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see the Scions at all. I feel like those are story related. But to some extent. Mm-hmm. But Braver Bouncer Summoner, probably somewhere down the line. They're probably going to... I think by the time New Genesis comes out, we'll probably see those in there already. I think they're just sort of showing what's going to be there in the beta so far, just so we know what to expect going into that, and then they'll probably reveal the other stuff later. Mm-hmm. But we'll see.
Yeah. They could even bring in... They could bring in all those classes, and they could bring in more, or they could even have a tiered layer of, base, kind of like PSU. Base class, you got your Hunter Force Fighter, whatever it was, Hunter Force Ranger, and then you've got the next tier, and maybe that's where Scions will come into play.
Yeah, maybe. Like upgraded versions of earlier classes, something like that.
Yep.
So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time, ANAMANA. If you'd like to see more of this conversation, we also discussed a few other topics about the reveal on his channel. The link to that will be down below. And in a moment, you'll see another link to that pop up on screen. And so you should go over there and see that part, and definitely give him a subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you all next time.